Hi, guys. Welcome back to today's podcast.
Our topic for today is about time management.
This is Jel.
This is Dean.
This is Niece.
You can join the conversation by commenting below.
Let's start.
Topic is time management. 1. What are your strategies to have proper time management?
Okay, so for number one question, I do the basics. I take notes of what I should do, then I organize it into a schedule. I make a table, be it in Microsoft Excel, draw the table format on a piece of paper, or even use the calendar app on the smartphone. I organize my schedule into when I should do it by day and what week. I also list what I should do first, the second, and so on. I don't follow this 100% accurately. Most of the time, I'm able to follow my schedule 80% to 95% of the time. If I'm not able to follow my schedule, I reschedule it. And I also put a target date of when it should be finished.
For me, I make a to-do list for what I'll be expecting to work and needed to be done for free time and schedule. I use alarms in order to track the time, like when should I start and when should I stop, so that I can work on another task. And within that time, I should have finished or halfway through some of the tasks.
The strategy used to have proper time management is setting an alarm and using a plan or task management application, like setting reminders or time tracker to when to do certain tasks. This really helped me get everything organized. I also prioritize the urgent and most important tasks needed to finish, and I invest my time in those things following the least important ones. I also try to not procrastinate in order not to cram by motivating myself through food and coffee or milk tea while doing my work. Moreover, I try not to drain myself with continuous work. I insert rest time or entertainment between working hours in order not to stress myself too much with academic work. Also, I tried not to open any social media applications when doing schoolwork. So, how effective are these strategies?
Me, using the basics of scheduling my tasks, I'm able to finish what needs to be done. It is important to set a deadline, especially if you have a goal.
These strategies, as I mentioned earlier, that helped me get everything organized. I became more productive and get more things done. I still feel stressed, but less than usual. And I love the feeling of accomplishment in finishing and crossing out a task for the day.
Most of the time, I don't follow the list of schedule because there are some changes. I also insert some work even though it is not scheduled for that time, being and cram because I procrastinate on some of my free time. But still, I can finish all my tasks on or before the set deadline and pass it. Number 2. What are the other time management strategies that you have tried but didn't work?
One of the things that makes it hard for a person to manage time is when a person always puts off what needs to be done and when there is no proper planning. There are people who do not believe in setting a deadline. But like how would you even finish it if you do not have a deadline? When you do not have a deadline, it's safe to assume you also do not believe in scheduling. It is important to have systems and structures. I have tried working with someone who does not have proper scheduling, and the project would always go on and on and on with no ending in sight. I don't think any organization would work properly without deadlines and proper scheduling.
Listing and setting time to the task work for me, but due to procrastination, I am usually tempted to use the phone while working and wasting 10 to 15 minutes of the time scrolling in social media or even watching a K-drama. So some of my tasks got extended just to finish it, and most of them are pending. Still, because of cramming, I can still manage to finish the task. For example, in my schoolwork, like making my lab report, I already performed the activity and only the paperwork is left. And I only start making it half of it or one day before the deadline. There are times that I only make it 11 hours before the deadline and still manage to submit because of cramming.
For me, everything I tried works, but only in the beginning of trying with the said time management strategies. However, in these time management strategies, it works for at least 50% of my progress of doing my task, while 50% of planning with the work. My brain works effectively and efficiently when I'm cramming and there is pressure in time. Hence, its disadvantages is the sudden feeling of stress and anxiety. I did still submit all tasks or activities before or on time, the due date and time. Another is I sometimes forget to set a timer for my rest or break time. An hour of rest time missing social media and watching videos leads to 2 to 3 hours. Still, I get things done even through all the stress and pressure. So, how do you manage time with your team members?
Managing time with team members is very important to have meeting and scheduling, and having healthy feedback and communication, and actually trying to follow the schedules that were agreed upon. I experienced working with a team leader who does not honor the schedule, and since he does not honor the schedule, he also goes beyond the personal time and boundaries. Instead of working it Instead of working the deliverables within the scheduled time of the day, he works outside the scheduled time of the day, which ruins the schedules of other team members since, in the first place, it was not the agreed schedule. This is different from working overtime, because if the schedule says we have to work 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., the team leader would give the files beyond that time and would let us work beyond that time. The 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. we did nothing because the team leader was not able to give us the files that we should work with. It started from little things like that until it escalated, and now I will not definitely renew my contract with him. Will people like to work with that kind of guy? I don't think so. With having team members, you have to treat one another professionally, and that goes with the proper scheduling too.
Working within a team, the only way we can manage our time is through using an educational platform like Microsoft Teams that the school gave to us. Our subject instructors set an individual group teams in MS Teams, which we can have meetings with our group members during the class or any time of the day schedule to that particular subject that have group activities just to discuss what is needed to be done. Explaining and distributing each task to each member. Also, it is not perfect because some of my teammates have internet issues, so the leader relays the tasks, other announcements, and other reminders through using another social media like Messenger. Setting deadlines help the team to be on track and not behind the other given task of the teacher. Our group leader is considerate in terms of heavy and hard assigned tasks. In terms of our performance in doing our tasks, I actually do it within the class schedule or any time of the day. Also, the leader is always reminds us when to pass the task and some of the members can pass it on time because of some others issues and excuses.
Amidst pandemic, the way I manage time with my team members is through scheduled video or voice calls. After communicating and considering each other's own schedule, the team leader helps the members track time and remind the group of each one's due time. Also, fair distribution of workload, open communication, and daily or weekly updates of the task progress help the team manage time effectively and efficiently. We also offer to help others who find their tasks difficult. Yet, we also consider each other's own pace in doing our assigned tasks, as long as it will be posted on a scheduled date in the team's drive or folder, in order to be compiled in the whole content together with the others member work in one file and be submitted on the right time.
How do you manage time in your work or business or studies, even if you are in a committed relationship?
Priorities. Know your priorities. What are their ranks in your life and understanding one another? Both of you have to be trustworthy to each other, and proper communication is also key. I have seen a lot of successful business owners that are quote unquote busy, yet still manage to nurture a happy relationship with their partners and their kids, and still remain faithful. I tell you, why? because they are already faithful and trustworthy partners to begin with. They have healthy communication with their partners. They do not hide anything or hold any information from their partners. There are temptations everywhere, and it's your actions towards the temptations that would tell you if you're a person with integrity or a person with none.
I don't have a committed relationship right now or experienced it, but I can share somewhat what I observed from my former classmates. I have a former classmate who's were in a relationship in the same class. They are actually a good student. They were attentive during the class, and they were always together, like eating their snacks inside the room and lunches together together in the library. I don't know what the conflict was or misunderstanding, but you can actually see and observe that in class because they distance away from each other once they have that kind of conflict, problem, or misunderstanding. Such till the time the relationship did not last that long, the girl prioritizes her studies and still has an honor award. The guy began to be a working student. They did not talk that much inside the room and distanced each other. I agree with Miss that proper communication is the key to discuss properly the problem and conflict. But still, if it has already been discussed and one of the partners keep repeating the same mistakes, then it's over. Mhm.
I'm the same with Tin. I also don't have experience in managing or balancing my time with my studies while in a committed relationship. But I have friends that I notice how to manage their studies while in a committed relationship. It really does have its advantages and disadvantages. Having a companion really does motivate them to do better in their studies or do things fast so that there is more time to spend with the partner. However, there are instances like James said, when a couple have conflicts. It affects their emotions, thus their motivation to be productive with schoolwork fluctuates, depending on the intensity of the issue in the event of one's day. Moreover, if one is busy with their studies or work, it is better to be considerate and be open to each other so that they will be understood. And I also agree to Liz that we should know our priorities. So, what pieces of advice can you give to people who have goals and dreams but are held back because they believe they don't have time?
All start with mindset. If you always instill in your mind that you cannot do it, then you really won't be able to make it. But once you think that you can do it, you would make ways and find ways to do it and to achieve it. Have an assessment about what you spend your time on and what activities do you believe you can sacrifice in order for you to use this time to reach your goals and dreams. It will surely take you time before reaching your goals, and there will be challenges and difficulties that will test you, and there will be countless times when giving up is an option. So you have to ask yourself, is this still worth it? Evaluate yourself and then ask yourself, discern about things that matter to you and ask yourself what you will do about it. Then actually do it. Not just think about doing it, but translate it to reality.
Of course, achieving our goal and dreams will take time and it starts with ourselves. Make an action. Action proves it all. Even though we have limited time or do not know how to manage our time well, if we take action within that day or do it, it will have a process. Even if it takes time, we can achieve it and there will be a result.
People may have the fear of success and fear of failure. Realistically, lack of money and being too busy on certain things is one of the main factors why we're held back with our dreams and goals. Ironically, I would say face your fears, but I myself couldn't face my own fears. I hadn't got the opportunity to push myself forward outside my comfort zone, and there is still more need to identify why I'm afraid of accomplishing my goals. Maybe fear of failure, disappointment, pressure, distress, or maybe fear of success, discontentment with my work, meeting new people that may either help me or hurt me. I've got many what ifs and questions about the future, but I would say that be confident with your goals and dreams. Be positive, and just like Kim said, don't just dream, but take action and make your goals and dreams come true. Okay, So we just answered those adulting questions for this podcast.
I hope that somehow our sharings have been able to help you in whatever possible ways.
You can also share your answers in the comments section. We hope that this podcast was of some learnings to those who have listened.
Let's meet again on another episode of An Helpful Guide to Adulting. Stay tuned as we talk about more topics soon.
Subscribe, like, share, and comment, and let's connect fellow adults.
Adulting can also be fun and enjoyable. Let's hop on to the series of An Helpful Guide to Adulting podcast.
Let's
Let's
meet
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 again
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 for
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 the
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 next
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 podcast.
podcast.
podcast.